It's resource
and
crunch,
then
it will get more
it
expensive.
stops here. This is our end, or parallel to this, and then you also have this. It's just the continuation of the top, or we slant it down.
Oops, I think I was kind of done.
Yeah, that's fucking classic. Mute the host.
So because these bridges are being built and it is not open source, it's not done by a decentralized community. You can't edit the code on your own by going on GitHub or pushing updates and then getting it approved. It's kind of like a centralized marketing campaign. And when we talk about Hive, we focus on a lot on decentralization, open source stuff. Let's say that everyone's intention is good, but someday someone felt burnout or something bad happens and these bridges go away out of nowhere. Something happens and we don't have these bridges anymore because it was too much centralized and we now have nothing left and we spent a lot of HBDs.
Can I?
Who is responsible for collaboration and making sure that these bridges will remain on Hive forever?
Can I?
Go ahead, Hive.
I think we need these bridges and everything Quasim said. I understand the anxiety with that things he's thinking. I don't think what other people are doing should really concern anybody else. People should concentrate on the thing they have going and their objective. And if somebody is doing something else going to interfere with that, well, then maybe that's the time to open discourse with that community and say, hey, listen, this is going to have a negative effect on us. Can we come to some kind of a compromise instead of going to war and work things kind of out like that way? But I will say that any storage, and this is controversial because we have to power up some higher power. But when there's a massive storage of higher power there on the blockchain, that is potential risk. And the more an individual has, or the more a group of individuals has, puts a higher risk on the deflation of Hive token, not HPD, but Hive token specifically.
So the Hive, I think it's important that we do contextualize this. We're doing really good, guys. We're actually doing really good because we're saying real things. Like, it's okay that we disagree with the metrics, but we need to be able to articulate the metrics that we each like. So, but I do think there's two criticisms here that can easily be addressed. One of my questions is why aren't, if they're so easy to my eyes, why aren't they being addressed? One is an open source thing. And you might look to my blog. I'm making a lot of things, and I'm leaving behind a trail of open source bits. You don't open source. So most people, Bookerman, I get it that they don't know what that means. They don't know they don't connect on a level as a builder with what open source means. But we need and we desire, and in fact, if you're asking for funding, maybe we demand open source bits. We want the bits. And one of the things is LeoDex is down. And I get it, man. I have old tools that are down. Why can't you publish the bits so that some member of your community could work with those bits and help you with tools that are getting deprecated? Why don't you announce that tools are being deprecated? I get that you can't, when you're building new things. I have old dead tools, but so that's a concern. And then, of course, the discussion about Hive power is maybe as valid as the Leo voter proxy. So we could say the Leo voter proxy is over 1 million Hive power. So maybe that's the answer to the question, is if there's stake in the game. There's some stake. Anybody would want to get that vote on their proposal or their witness. So, but let's talk about this open source. Anybody here who is pro Leo here? We got a couple names. Somebody, Anomadsoul, you want to come in? Can we demand bits, open source bits?
I want to add one more thing related to this whole open source discussion. Can I?
Well, roll it out, man. Is well, while somebody gets on the mic on the
I
a Leo team.
am saying when we are building bridges, why Archangel, Hive Trending, and Mehdi are here. Why aren't that they are not capable of interacting and adding the code, updating it because we are building technology. It's for the whole Hive. Why it is being too much behind the curtains that what if we needed to evolve from the existing technology? What if we want to contribute to it? What if we want to take the torch further once something happens? Like of course nobody would trust Hive if Hive.blog was whole behind some shady codes behind the curtains type of stuff. So it's not just about making it open source, it's about allowing other people to contribute their parts. It could be security, it could be anything when we are building bridges between these chains. Their good code should be able to be pushed, and they could able to contribute to it as how decentralized communities works. But what I see here is a private venture doing its own thing, and at the end of the day, if things horribly go wrong, I'm not saying it would, but in the worst case scenario, we aren't prepared.
I'll just add with what I said before. I also have said for years since the DHF or the DAO has come around that any private project, so if this isn't something that's coding something for the security of the blockchain or to enable the blockchain to run, improve the node codes or whatever it is, if it's not something like that and it is a private project, it's essentially seeking funding investment for the project. And any project doing that should have in its terms, its white paper, how much it is going to return to its investors. And the DHF, the DAO, should be considered as one of those investors.
Why I'm super interested in this topic, and to me as a sociologist, the important thing is that we come together. Not that we agree, but that we explicitly and clearly state what our different opinions are instead of fighting about. And I'm glad Mark is here. I appreciate so much his gifts, especially the Ned one. And I know the DHF has that feeling to it, and but as Addicted said, we need to be that Ned GIF, if somebody can put it in the chat. We need to be that Ned GIF to projects we think are going to generate more value. Now, as a sociologist, my discovery is that just having the conversation is so dang valuable because there's a lot of bitterness in the air. So I believe this is extremely valuable, and I'd love to move on to other topics, but can we?
Well,
Who's pro Leo? Like, come on, Addicted. A little bit of open source bits. Come on, can you push for that with me? Let's get some open source bits.
I mean, open source is good, but sometimes it's not good. I mean, if someone comes in and is like, "I'm going to compete with you now," then that's like kind of annoying. And
well, that's why you got to pick your
kind
bits.
of touching on that too. Is like okay, so are we saying that either do it this way or it's not worth it at all? Because I feel like if we're hinging everything on these things need to be open source or else we're not even willing to take that risk. Life's a lot about just taking risks, and some of the risks you take aren't necessarily in 100% with how you would want to take that risk. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a risk. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
I totally
exactly.
Get
like,
it. I get it. Give me a second, Addicted.
If it's closed source, sorry. If it's closed source, that's a risk, like obviously to the network. But I still think it's worth the cost. I don't think it's very much, even though it sounds like a lot to an individual.
Yeah. Okay. So exactly right. It is $200,000, which is less now
Like
because
that's one dev salary. That I know I know a guy who was a lead dev for Blizzard Entertainment. He made 500 grand a year. So it's like
And come on, don't we want to
it's less than
just
a
spend
salary.
Justin Sun's money?
well, okay. So right. Let's nail this down because a lot of the
Okay.
conversation about open source is about this, but like compete with you where in the particular case we're talking about, Leo Finance, InLeo, they have a large swath of tools they've built over the years experimenting with this connection stuff. You could open source the Leo Dex, which is deprecated now. You could open source that. What competition could there be to open source the Leo Dex for Hive Engine?
I mean, I can't really speak to that because I don't have knowledge of it. You know.
As far
You
as
would
I'm
have to.
concerned, open source should be a choice of the developer. They've put the capital into creating what they've created. If they choose to keep it private, that's up to them. It's their capital. We're being asked if we will support a proposal that will utilize that infrastructure that they've built. Either we want to see it used to bring in more Hivians, or we don't. That's really what the bottom line is.
Yeah, normally when a company open sources stuff, like I often joke about how Mark Zuckerberg is a way better open source developer than like anyone in crypto, is like you open source the stuff like React, a bunch of people use it, and you open source it because it's useful and profitable for you to open source it. So I don't know if Leo has anything that would be useful and profitable for them to like open source.
I would agree with Shadow's Pub there, except that I think when the funding is for future development or future continuation, that's an investment into. That's not use of resource. When they have completed all of that and they say we have this product, we will lease this product to your blockchain at X amount per month.
And
That's a
isn't the
different thing.
proposal not for dev salaries though? I think it
It
specifically
was pretty
says in the
clear that it was
proposal.
not the dev salaries.
Yeah, it's marketing. It has nothing to do with dev salaries.
That's what it gets used for the majority or a lot of the time to pay the code or developing something, maybe.
They've specifically stated that it wasn't. So I get like we can get into a whole thing about transparency, you know, and to show what things have been used for or what not.
Well, I think it's.
But continue.
I think in that proposal, I've not read it, but I think I've heard it quoted many times as saying it's for the Hive development. So it's projects that develop the Hive blockchain and improve on the Hive blockchain. So it's Hive blockchain related project. And I think that got loosely translated to the, okay, well, I'm a Hive user. Well, I'll put a proposal in. I mean, I'm friends with a few nice people. It might get through.
Anomadsoul commented a while ago that he'd like to contribute.
Jump on.
Hey, yeah. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Nice. Yeah, I wasn't sure if my microphone was working. Dude, I didn't even know this show happened every week. I'll make sure to tune in every Wednesday. It's at 2 p.m. my time, so I can do it very easily. So, you know, I don't really want to get into the specifics of the InLeo proposal. Why? Because I think everything is on chain and everything is very clear. But I do want to mention a couple of things about open sourcing and also. Okay, I know I said I didn't want to get into the details of the proposal, but it's I'll just mention something very quick. So I've been heavily involved with marketing in crypto, not only on Hive but also in a couple of other projects. And one thing that we have to have it very clear is that if you want to have an appearance on a top spaces that has, I don't know, let's say 150 people listening live, 2,000 people listening throughout the week, and 20,000 people watching on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, etc. These people charge $15,000 for a partnership once a week. So if you want to get out any kind of news, you want to have the right impact. You don't want to spend, let's just say, Addicted just said a top developer costs $200,000, right? That's just a salary of a year, right? So if you want to spend money in development and have technology and have a lot of solutions that you actually want to use to onboard people, you have to have budget to actually put them out there. Otherwise, the people will not come. There's no way that you have technology and you put it out and then it magically appears in front of people and they are like, oh wow, this is amazing, I'm going to start using it. No, you have to shove it down their throat, and people actually start believing in a product after they listen to the idea or the concept 7 to 12 times. So you can tell them about, hey, look at Hive, and the first time they will be like, oh yeah, this lunatic, okay. And the second time they will be like, oh, okay, so this lunatic is back. And then by the fifth to seventh time, they're like, okay, so this guy is here again. Let's see what this is about. They will try it, they will not adopt it. And then you come back and then you keep shoving it down their throats. And then by the 10 to 12, they are like, okay, yeah, let's get down to business. I'm gonna become a user of this protocol, or I'm gonna become an investor on this liquidity pool or in this stake pool, whatever. So I guess my point here is that marketing in crypto, especially in crypto, all of these KOLs, influencers, spaces are way overrated, and they overcharge a lot. But it's the industry where we're in. If you want to have a press release on Cointelegraph, you have to spend $12,000. So all of these things are not cheap. And I guess that I'm mentioning all of this because if you want this proposal to pass, that's where the money is going to go to. It's not going to go to salaries. It's not going to go for development. It's just going to pay for marketing. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to be enough. Like protocols, top protocols spend $500,000 a month just to get out there. Eigenlayer spent almost $1 million for a few months just to get users interested in their token generation event and building on their chain. They have right now, they have billions and billions of dollars staked on their platform, but that didn't come cheap. Pump Fund is generating billions of dollars in Solana, and they are not giving anything to the chain. They're just giving them the fees. And they are selling all of these Solana tokens into USDC, and nobody bats an eye. Why? Because they are bringing in activity to the blockchain. So I guess what you have to question yourself is investing this money for Hive going to bring enough users? Either they are Flinterlands players, Woo players, Actifit bloggers, PeakD bloggers, or Snap makers, or InLeo threads users, whatever. Is it going to be enough? Is it going to sustain the expenses? And I can tell you, right now the proposal is $700 a day. That's $21,000 a month. I think that spending this amount of money to at least test for a few months how good these partnerships are and how good they can do for the blockchain, I think it's a good bet, especially after you already saw what happened with Dash. Dash brought in a lot of users, and you saw there was a space a couple of hours ago with around 75 people at peak listening. I haven't even checked how many people have tuned in, but there must be like 500 people. So that's 500 people that are listening to what Hive, InLeo, and Dash are bringing to the ecosystem. So I guess that's good food for thought. And yeah, thank you very much for giving me the chance to speak.
Have you lost your minds? Okay, next slide.
Sorry, what?
I have no idea what that was.
That was hilarious. We needed
mic,
that. I
though.
feel like that was good comedic relief. That was much needed.
Much needed. Yeah, it's an open mic, and we got Ed on the line. Let's bring in AlohaEd, the ex-president of Hawaii. AlohaEd, welcome.
Hey, Eco. Hey, Nomad. Good to hear your voice again. I'm going to give you very general criticism. Very general criticism. I used to be a regular attendee of InLeo events on Twitter. I would share them out, try and fill up the comments. I would have YouTube loaded on the side and be commenting on that too. And I would plead and plead and plead for some interaction on the Twitter side. Because you're on Twitter, right? That's who you're reaching. And there has to be interaction there if you want efficient use of these things. If you've got people on Twitter that are watching a live and encountering Leo for the first time, there has to be like engagement there. And I don't know why it didn't happen. And then I repeated that general criticism recently, and I got told or recommended to do what I had already done. And so before I made that general criticism, I went into the Twitter, to the live. I made several comments and several likes to push it up in the Twitter algorithm. So the way the Twitter algorithm works, a like is good, a retweet is good for discovery, but what is excellent is comments. So I'm pushing it up on the algorithm, and then I went back into the, I'm trying to think, a live thread, a thread storm. And I recommended that people who have a Twitter account that are in the thread storm getting rewarded with Leo, hop over into Twitter if they have a Twitter account and leave a post there to drive it up. No, there's no direct benefit to you. You're not going to get, since Twitter's not tokenized, it doesn't help, but it's more of an abstract value. Now, one of the things, and I went and made that comment in a Leo forum, and the suggestion was that I do what I had just done. And so I want to see Leo succeed. I like the energy. But if we're asking for money for social media partnerships, you must use the assets that you have optimally, like the assets that you already have. Does that make sense? And I'm trying to make this, I'm not trying to be antagonistic or start up a new fight or anything like that. That was just one of the things. And this is actually something that I've raised, a point that I've raised time after time. And kind of what I heard one time was kind of like a joke. Well, we don't, we try and do everything on chain. Okay. But if they're on chain, we already have those people. And if we're going to do something in a medium, and particularly if we're going to spend money to do something on a medium, let's get it right. Let's get it right, and let's use the tools that we have effectively. And hopefully that didn't sound mean-spirited or anything like that. That was just my observation.
If anything, it sounded beautiful.
It was
beautiful. You're totally right, Ed. That's a long-standing problem. When Twitter Spaces was actually usable, which they're not for me anyways, I would see that over and over again where people would leave comments and ask questions and they were just ignored in Twitter. And that's not good. It doesn't say good things about Hive.
So here's one thing, and this is my personal opinion. Of course, this is just me. This is not aligned with InLeo, Hive, or pretty much anyone in Hive, because whenever I say this, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're crazy." But one thing that I've been a high proponent of is that I don't really care if you're not active on Hive. I would rather you to go out to Twitter, the centralized entity that controls the narrative in crypto. Yes, we have to use it. We actually have to be active on Web2 to bring in people from Web2. I don't care if you are not making comments or posts on Hive if you're bringing users from Twitter. And actually, I don't think that people should be, and I actually mentioned this in one of the town halls. I think, and like I said, this is my personal opinion, but I think that people should not get rewarded for their content on Hive. They should get rewarded for the views they bring from outside of Hive, because that means there's potential users that might know or find out about Hive. I don't care if, let's say, for example, Addicted, and this is not a blow at him because I actually consider him my friend, but Addicted gets, I don't know, let's say $30 per post. How many users is he bringing? I don't know, let's say 10 users. And then you have Menno. He's also a friend. We actually speak quite frequently. He gets $10 per post, and he brings in 50 users or 50 views per post from Medium, from Twitter, from Instagram, whatever. I think that Menno should get more money from the reward pool than Addicted, because he's actually doing something to bringing users to Hive. And I think that we have it all backwards. We reward people from their proof of brain on Hive, but I think that we should have it all like the other way around. We should reward people from their proof of brain by bringing people from the outside. Otherwise, we don't grow. And if there's no growth, there's stagnation. And if there's stagnation, then you have like the numbers cannot lie. We used to be a top 5 blockchain. We used to compete with Ethereum. Right now we are, I don't even know, like what, 300, top 350 in market cap. It's been 4 years since we actually depegged from Steam, and yet I think we are like 10 spots difference than Steam. Like our market cap is not that higher than Steam, and they are not even doing anything. Like they don't have core development, they don't have dApps, they don't have anything. But I mean, of course, yeah, they have just in some. But I guess my point is, if you're not focused on growing, and if you're not focused on putting Hive out there, then what the hell are we doing? And we have the funds, we have the money. It's not a lot, but we should be putting that money to work to bring in users.
Yeah, let's bring in the Hive here. Great response, Anomadsoul. Thank you for championing. That's what ideas need. They need champions. And so let's bring on the Hive here. Give a little feedback. Do your best American accent impression, my friend.
That is totally ridiculous. I'm sorry, Anomadsoul. But it's my higher power. And if I can give $100 reward to somebody and I can do that, that's my business, my higher power to reward wherever I want. And nobody should tell me who I should like or not like more than somebody else because of the people they bring in. Well, for all I know, the people they're bringing in might be scammers and just leeching off the place. Whereas the person I'm giving $100 to might be keeping that, or they may need that money for a specific thing, and I might not care about the content of the post, but I'm rewarding their post as they have the finances to deal with the hardships they're having outside of the blockchain. So there's many reasons why people give different things, and there is probably a lot of circle jerking going on where people who could use a vote or in representation of value that post holds to the blockchain, well, yeah, that post probably should get more. But that comes down again to opinion and whose opinion over which topic is more important. Biden more important than Trump?
Fantastic, the Hive.
Yeah.
We've got a couple other voices that want to spring forward. Shadows Pub, do you want to interlocutor a little bit here?
No, I think the Hive said it very well. I am kind of curious how a Anomadsoul jumped to whether there should be rewards or not on the chain when the actual topic that Ed was talking about was people responding to comments on Twitter when there's a space on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my point was more to encourage activity outside of Hive. Yes, we want activity in Hive, but we also want, like AlohaEd said, and we actually concur in that. We actually spoke in quite a few spaces, and we reached that same conclusion that if you actually want to have eyes on you on Twitter, you actually have to have interactions, because interactions bring interactions, and that's pretty simple. So that's why we actually encourage a lot of InLeo users. Hey, if you see a post about Hive or InLeo, give it a like, drop a comment. I know that you
Still
love
not
Hive, and I
listening to
know
me,
that you
Anomadsoul.
love. Sorry, what?
We're talking about comments that are being made in spaces that are going without response, and I've seen it happen repeatedly. Ed's right. There's somebody will put a comment in while the space is going on, and instead of somebody paying attention to those comments and responding, they're just ignored. He's right.
I'll put it to you like this, Anomadsoul. You were here in the server now, and you're hosting this show, and people are in the text there channel asking you to host questions. You won't answer those questions over the mic. You won't answer those questions.
Oh, I know what you mean, in the Leo spaces.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. Thank you for the feedback. I will tell the people, the team members that host the spaces, that they should pay more attention to that. Definitely.
That's all
I
we
didn't
want.
know that
I
you were
think
speaking
that was,
about that.
yeah, super valuable feedback from Ed. And honestly, I think nobody thinks that failure for anybody is a good thing. I mentioned the open source thing, but Ed just came up with another thing. And so, like, all of these are just low-hanging observations that maybe, guys, your proposal is very close. I feel like the politics is working. Let's continue to activate, be better in every way. Yeah, who's trying to talk?
That's me again. I'd like to just kind of divert. And I mentioned before, everything that's being mentioned has a commonality so far. And the end of everything that somebody says, it ends with, well, I don't know the solution, but this problem and this needs to be addressed. One group is trying to address it this way, and another group's trying to address it another way, and this group is coding, and this group is making gains. But none of them seem to be working, and everybody seems to be still saying and talking about the problems. But I've yet to go to a chat, and then there's a conversation about, okay, how do we resolve all these things? What is the commonality between all of these things that we need to resolve? So that the Hive blockchain can progress through this step so all them other things can happen. If anybody understood all.
Yeah, man, I speak Irish, no problem. Okay, so who's next? Who's gonna be? Yeah, right. We got some clapping. Addicted. I was thinking. I see Empoderat is in the house. I mean, if everybody's done with this topic, I'd love to see if Empoderat has a microphone that works. Otherwise, I'd love to hear Addicted talk a little bit more about the full moon. Did we fulfill the prophecy, Addicted?
I got what I wanted.
Right, we pumped at 97. Right, that's good.
Yeah.
But break out to the upside. What's going to happen here?
It dipped right to the bottom of the channel that I was looking at, and then it immediately pumped, which is exactly what I was looking for. So, it's obviously just a short-term trade, but I think we're bullish for like another week, maybe 3 days. I'm very worried about a death cross. I think we're going to get wrecked if the 25-day
right?
If the 25-day moving average moves under the 100, that's the one that's the default on Binance and all these other exchanges. It's the one that all the traders are looking at. If that death crosses, it's not going to be fun. But we have like a sweet support at 92K. We are currently above the 100-day average, so we can't death cross while that's happening. So that's good. But I mean, really, it's just about attrition, right? Like, this is the time where everyone's panicking and like, oh my god, it's the top, and you just gotta like deal with it and wait a year. It's gonna take it's a year of this. It's gonna be terrible.
Now, when you say this, you mean up and down, or what? I think we're still going up, right? I mean, now we're gonna choke
It's
down.
it's going to be a year. It's going to be a year of wondering if we're going to get wrecked, and if this is the top. That's
I
a
feel
year
like
of that.
I feel like we need Ed to repeat what you said so I don't feel so doom and gloomy.
Ed,
in his nice voice.
In his radio voice, yeah,
Ed,
exactly. Like
Ed, please do Chronicles of Narnia. Are we gonna die edition with crypto?
Obviously, we're all going to be crypto billionaires and all driving Lambos, and each of us will have, at least 5 trophy wives or husbands apiece. Whichever way works.
I want a
best for you.
castle on the moon, actually.
Yes,
I want a moon castle.
I mean, it's obvious that moon castles are all part of the package. Yes. So we're all going to be fabulously wealthy, and we're all going to be handsome, and all of our children will be above average, and so forth. Winning to the moon,
guys. Guys, if you guys are gonna wrap it up, can I say something real quick? Because they were talking about onboarding and stuff. Just my 2 cents for whatever they're worth. Is this working?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, some of you guys know me. Some of you guys know that I've been around for a little bit. Even though I went dormant for a while, I never truly left. But I was a part back in the day, back when, of a really strong initiative of onboarding people. We went out. We went after some big dudes. Like some of them, we went after them when they were getting big, and now they're huge. And I can go back and remember some of the things that I said, some of the things that I guess you could say I promised to these people, the ones that we onboarded. Like we're talking about YouTubers like David Pacman, Majority Report, TJ Kirk, the Amazing Atheist. Those are the ones that I got involved with, but then other people got other guys. They got Sticks and Hammer. What's the name of that guy? Can't remember right now. But some big guys. And one of the things that we did, and I think we messed up big time, is that we focused, when we were onboarding new people, we focused on selling them the idea that they're going to make all this money. So if I have a message to give anybody who has given themselves the mission today of onboarding people, is to not do that, because that should not be the focus. A friend of mine told me a long time ago, and I keep on remembering this because I think it's key. Like, if you think Hive is awesome at $5, then you must think it's amazing at 30 cents, because that's a steal. So, meaning that the idea of the value of the coin has to be connected to what it is that it does. So if we have a blockchain that you can write whatever, and I'm going to use some French here to make a point. You can write whatever the fuck you want, and big YouTube and or any other platform is not going to delete you because you have opinions that are not conducive to the narrative that's allowed online. That is the value. So I guess that's what I want to put out there. This is aside from if they can make money or if they cannot make money. Now I'm going to say something kind of crazy, and maybe even against a little bit of what I would suggest is the ideal. But if you whatever box you put in the Alex Jones of the world when he was getting censored, whatever that dissenting voice that says crazy shit, that's the people more or less that need this solution. The idea of democratizing information so that it doesn't matter if you say whatever, you're not going to get deleted. Can you make money? Of course you can make money. And the reason why I say the focus has to not be on the money is because in any other situation, Web 2.0, okay, we're talking about with Web 3, but Web 2.0, nobody tells you, hey, you should use Facebook because you're going to make money, or you should use YouTube because you're going to make money. And if somebody does, I mean, they're selling you a dream. The chances of you making money with those things are there, but they're so slim. And I think it should be something equivalent to that. I guess if we're going to be doing recruiting, we need to not sound like Carl salesman. We need to sound like, Like we're focused on the real thing, which is the value proposition, not the mooning. Yeah, we can talk crap here, and like I always joke around with Addicted about the stuff, but it shouldn't be the focus. Now, regarding if people get paid for going out there and recruiting, I think that's a separate conversation. There was a fund established for that, for people to going hunting people, and I think that could be done again. But those people, I think, need to go through some sort of training that the community should draw up. And it's like, what do you think? What are you going to say? What are you not going to say? You know what I mean? Like, it should be done democratically, I think, before that happens.
Okay, let me bridge it out. First of all, this is Mino. Thank you, Mino. Great advice. We love it, and I'd love to get other people in here with pushback. I don't know that the Hive is going to push back on you. Anybody with some pushback? But I think we've been saying this idea for years. Whether we go back and try again the third time to onboard the same people, what we've been saying is, get paid to blog is a terrible pitch. Stop saying it. No, don't do it.
I don't know who I'm replying to now. You have to stop doing that to me, dude. When you're targeting people, you're targeting all the wrong. You don't want to be out there targeting this popular Twitter, this popular TikTok. You want to go out and you want to target people like, I don't particularly like Tim Pool, Candace Owen, Jordan B. Peterson, people like that. And you don't offer them money. What you bring to them is 50,000 a year or 75,000 a year for 3 years for them to put their content on the platform. And the people that will come to the platform to view their content will be immense. And when other platforms, YouTube and stuff, it goes into the background of YouTube and it's hard to find, it's always bloody here on the blockchain. And all our content is getting views. It doesn't matter, like you're saying, if it's getting rewarded or not. It's bringing people to the chain. And then they see newer content from different people. And that's, well, when all this thing was going on about onboarding people, I tried to explain to people, that's where you go to onboard. You don't bring their people. You bring one person who has popularity to bring all the other people, and not a 5-minute framer on somebody that actually says something. Say something, Alex Jones. But Alex Jones is probably more a novelty thing, where I think Jordan B. Peterson is a bit more middle of the road because he's psychology and biology and all the clinical. He's got qualifications. Any rebuttals are welcome because I'd like to that talk myself.
Who wants to come on open mic? We do have some ideas about Alex Jones, and but I have said something like this recently, that naturally we're the rebels. So of course we need to be carefuler than ever that we learn how to work together and speak about how we disagree, because we are rebels and we should maybe lean into that. But I'm looking for another interlocutor. Who's going to open their mic up?
I gladly do. I have a couple of questions and maybe ideas.
Yes, do it. Danish Crypto, please. Is that what I should call you, Danish Crypto?
Yes, thank you. Yes, I'm Danish Crypto. I've been a Steemit Hive user for 6 or 7 years. Not like pushing as much blog content as I could, because I'm more of a short content writer. I'm getting better though. But like the whole evolvement of Hive here, like we have something that not many other places in crypto has. Like we have proven long-term stability and censorship resistance. maybe the coin is not like showing that value, but like seeing what some of the front end developers are doing with InLeo and other front ends, like it's getting better and better. But something that I really personally have been finding hard to find is a good guide on how those different things work, because Hive has a lot of things that, if put together right, can reform the current like social media monetary system, like YouTube, like podcast, like blog content. Like we have the podcast notifier, but there is no real information like put together. There's updated on how that works. Like how could I make my podcast work with the Hive notifier system, and where can I find anything that makes how to really use tree speak to make my videos decentralized. And what, like, one of the things I just put in the comments here, because that's one of the things I'm looking at currently. Like, I'm an older Hive user, but with the new InLeo content and the key store, like, how do I add my, instead of making a new account, because I don't want to make a new account, how do I combine that? And I haven't, like, maybe there are videos out there, because many people on Hive are doing amazing content, but it's hard to find like bundle of those guides.
Danish Crypto, I think just to make a little more general what you're talking about, I agree generally on Hive. We need better mechanisms to communicate, because there's a lot of open source stuff, but that doesn't mean it's findable. And so I've been working on some tools, and I've been building tools with people that are identifying this stuff. I sent you a friend request so we could be friends. Now, just to tie this back in, we know that there's these weaknesses, right? We know that certain weaknesses are on Hive, things getting outdated, not everything being kept up to date. What's working today might be a different tool than we were using 6 months or 2 years ago. And so, and we agree that not everybody's a creator, right? So a vibrant ecosystem, in any way you slice it, has different actors fulfilling different roles and using it for different uses. We can all agree on that. And it's not clear to me, Vaultec is server muted. I don't know who did that, but okay, he is probably listening. Okay, so we're talking about a bunch of things in the chat here, and it's going fast.
Jeez.
But I don't think I want to talk about any of those things. I want to talk more about community governance, and the area gathering spaces, a nod to anti-socialist here. Anyone can pick up the mic. This is a community radio show, and sometimes it might be being recorded and sometimes it might not be, but we have kind of a responsibility to come together and communicate with each other as humans. And so I think that's what we're doing. So actually, look, Vaultec, if you would like, speak a few words, but don't talk about that thing. Talk about community governance. And we've all heard your math pitch, but talk about community governance, because that's a very interesting thing, like communicating together what we're doing and what we need. And is Vaultec on the line? No. Okay.
Yes, probably.
He'll get here. I mean, he may get here. Okay, so Addicted, wrap up what you guys were bantering about in the chat about the AMM, the automated market maker at the center of Hive. Right now what we have is an internal market, and it does a similar function with a spread, and it could be more efficient with a constant product pool. And Addicted, did you want to say some words? I believe that the funding should only be yield. It should never putting liquidity in doesn't make sense. But go ahead.
I don't know. You could put liquidity in there and dilute the yield. Those are both valid options. But I wanted to say I was reading the stabilizer proposal, and it looks like stabilizer kind of steals money from the community and puts it into the DHF.
Ditto.
Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
Junto con esta.
Yes.
Y después ya vamos a aprovechar que tenemos más. De verdad, yo pienso comienza con esta.
Who's speaking? Oh yeah, thank you. That was Buttcoins in Spanish. His Costa Rican Spanish. Okay, so very interesting. Yes, Addicted. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's not the only thing that does that. Now let me just finish this up because we should round it out. And I think if Marky's still here, Marky sometimes votes that one, but he sometimes votes burn posts as well, which does not burn curation, but burns part of the author reward pool as well. And so it's an interesting, we are voting through comment beneficiaries to dilute the author reward pool into other uses, including the DHF.
What I wanted to say is that that's one of the reasons why I support an automated market maker, because I don't think money should be going back into the DHF. I just think it should just get burned, because then it goes to everybody instead of whoever controls the DHF. But an AMM is going to create exponential amounts of liquidity, and one of the new technologies we've been seeing are those hyperliquid pools, where you can say, okay, I want to provide liquidity between this and this range. Because in a normal automated market maker, you have 50% of one asset and 50% of the other asset. I don't know if you guys have used these new ones. I haven't used them yet, but apparently you can pick a range I want to sell Bitcoin at a maximum range of 110K and maybe a minimum range of 90K. And then when you have your money in that LP, you're providing exponentially more liquidity to the market, because if Bitcoin goes up to 110, you have all stable coins. And if Bitcoin goes down to 90, you have all Bitcoin instead of the 50-50 ratio. So I'm wondering how hard that would be to put on the VSC kind of rendition that we have going.
Well, okay, great. And so, Vaultec, are you coming on to talk about it? And that would be great.
Chatting.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, that was just kind of an idea. I've been thinking about this for a couple of months now, and it came up again. So, I just thought I'd mention that to see what people think about it. It's something that's definitely on our roadmap. At the very least, doing a liquidity pool, AMM type thing, and then maybe longer term adding in DHF funds to help seed that liquidity, or whatever is required there to get it going, because you want to have a bit of liquidity to actually get volume.
Well,
on there. $10, it's not going to be very good.
I'd love to refer you to the way that we proposed it in the past. We actually tried to do it on Hive Engine, and never got the funding, which is okay. But the way you do it is you get any money you get would be provided in some way as extended yield. So you would drip that out as yield, and that way you could increase slowly or quicker, depending on what yield you were attracting or trying to attract.
Yeah.
You'd put that into time-locked yield packages and build the pool slowly and organically with that yield drip.
Yeah, we were talking about that as a subsidy, but could it be better to just put it in the pool and have the network own it? I think we get automatic volume just by having it there. Just by its existence, I think it gets volume because of the arbitrage that occurs. Because if Hive goes up on exchanges, you can buy cheap Hive on the AMM, and if we have a super deep liquidity pool, it's gonna stabilize Hive by a ton, because if Hive goes up, we're gonna dump it from the AMM, and if Hive, same thing, if it goes down, we're gonna be able to buy it and put it onto the automated market maker for cheaper with conversions and stuff.
that only works good for HBD. If you do that with Hive, you're ruining people's potential earnings for your own self.
I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, so that's okay though. So we are on to another discussion in the
No,
chat.
I think you
Hold
need
on,
to
the
hear
Hive,
that.
the Hive, the Hive. I think that comment should be in the chat. Leave that as a comment in the chat, please.
No, I think I should be allowed to speak.
Okay,
the
then go ahead.
everybody
Yes,
else.
sir. Yes, sir.
I think that system only works with a stable coin. Now, if you do that with the Hive token, that is a flexible token, you're actually trying to gain control of that flexible token market, and you ruin the potential for other people to gain profit on their tokens by the bulk amount you up trade. That's just an opinion of something that might happen in a situation like that.
I don't think you can make an argument that higher liquidity is bad. I don't think you can.
Yeah, it just sounds like it's a chance for someone to just get a good price, which happens every day, right? No one can really time a market.
Well, I do think that if there's a new V3 thing that you guys are hyper liquid, I hate that for the internal market mechanism. But I think a constant product avoids certain. Anyways, these are academic discussions for the chat. I want to talk about burning the reward pool and curation rewards not being burned. Please, Deranged Visions, is your microphone working, please? Bring it on, man. We're talking about this. Right, exactly. Hyperliquid is just a thing you were talking about. So we're talking past each other, which is why I'm trying to get Deranged on now. Or Marky. Marky. Okay, so anybody want to not talk about that thing? Perfect.
Hello?
Yes, Deranged, you came, man. Do it. We want to talk about this. It's as adults. Let's talk about protocols. Is this appropriate? It is behavior that's happening. What do you feel about it?
So, I'm just wondering, like, why other people can't self-vote, but somebody can make a burn post and use up all 10 votes a day on multiple accounts, and that's not self-voting? Like 10 times a day self-voting, I think everybody would say that's pretty excessive. If you're only voting on your own stuff, but then saying it's a burn post, but you still make money off of voting on your own comment that says burn post.
Let me guide you here. Let me guide you a little bit. Okay, Mr. Deranged, nice to have a chat with you. Okay, so the chat's going, but let me guide you here. Here's the thing. On a protocol level, what is the response? Why don't you downvote his burn posts?
Well, I don't downvote it because my vote's only worth 3 cents. It's not $70 like his. And so if I downvote it, like he's earning $35 10 times a day self-voting burn post, but you want everybody to downvote him and try to take that away? Like, what's the purpose of downvoting on a burn post?
Well,
I'm going to earn $35 a day
if I vote your shit.
Rewards out of the burn post.
It doesn't matter.
No. Hold on a second. What? Who's talking? Hold on. Who's talking, please? Who is it? Big list here.
I'll wait, and I'll let Marky finish.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't matter what I vote. I'm going to get the same rewards. When you're saying self-voting is when you're voting and you're basically getting the rewards for the author and the curation, and you have 100% control of what rewards you're going to get. That's why people don't like self-voting. Say, for example, I self-voted a comment for $35. Now I get the curation, I get the author rewards, and I controlled the vote. No one had any say. That's self-voting. This is giving away all the author rewards. I'm going to get curation no matter what I vote. I can vote the DHF, I could vote the Burn post, I could vote your post, I could vote Lassie post. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get the same amount of curation, unless if I am slow to vote and I vote past in one day. But what I'm doing is completely selfless. I make no benefit whether I do that or something else. It's actually helping the community more than anything else. And I feel that is the best use of my voting power. But I get no benefit from it. I'm not making more money because I'm voting a Burn post rather than your post. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get $35 in curation rewards no matter what, if that's my vote.
Okay, Marky, thank you so much. Let me bridge it back over. So this is an interesting comment here because this is protocol stuff. What is a self vote? We talked yesterday about one account voting itself, not necessarily one account voting his company. But here's a good case of the different values that are distributed through the self vote, right? So the self vote is considered the author rewards, and the curation rewards, you're right, he's not selflessly burning himself out of a stake, but he is though shrinking the reward pool instead of maybe giving it up. But it's interesting because the options aren't great for curation, because decline rewards does not give any curation, and that's very bad. So Deranged Visions, I want to give you a chance to come back in, but remember, we're all adults, right? We're all adults talking about protocols, and feel free to respond.
If I decline the rewards on those, it would do nothing because they would just get pushed to some other post.
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense now, like what you're saying, because I never thought of it like that. That you're gonna get the same curation reward for yourself, no matter what you vote. So
it doesn't matter. I'm gonna get the same
So
curation rewards as you do. It's going to be the same percentage based on how much stake I have and when I vote. If I vote past 1 24-hour day, then I'm going to get worse rewards, but otherwise I'm going to get the same. Since they moved the curation window to 1 day, everyone pretty much gets the same curation rewards unless if something they voted gets downvoted or they vote poorly. Like Splinterlands, for example, is notorious for voting on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th day, so they are going to get worse curation rewards because of that.
yeah, I see where you're coming from now, and it does make more sense to me.
I hear this a lot, but it's the same story. It's the what's his name, Blipcoin, just parroting that you're getting all these rewards and self-voting, and it's all malicious. But it's completely selfless. I get nothing from it. I get same rewards if I just voted Lassie Cash all day. It wouldn't change anything. I would get the exact same thing.
Well, it would change something for Lassie Cash. Okay, now hold on a second here. Marky, thank you so much. Addicted comments that we haven't heard Marky talk since open mic in, 2020? Open mic comedy club. So this is good, guys. We solved some deep Web 3 secret. I really am excited about this open channel. And the potential we have at this moment. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if anyone actually talks with Blipcoins or BPC, if he could shorten his post. Right now, I measured one of his posts the other day, and I think it was approximately 700 feet long. That's probably something, I don't know, like 5,000 kilometers or decimeters for you people who don't use freedom units. But like 700 feet, I appreciate a good rant, but when it takes up like 75 of my screens, if I would have to like stack 75 monitors high to read one of his rants, it's probably gone beyond anything that's efficacious. So if anybody could actually converses with BPC, yes, and he's not actually some sort of AI construct, maybe the rants shorten them to about to about half a monitor long, because otherwise I just have to mute the guy. It's almost like defacing Hive in a way. It's just it's too much. It's too much.
You'd have better
Sorry,
luck
that's
going
my
to an
PSA.
insane asylum and asking them not to be insane. That's just how it is. If you go to his YouTube channel, which you'll find in a lot of them, he has like 500 videos that are like songs about me. It's hysterical. This guy is like Taskmaster. He does like 50 posts a day and like 700 comments. It's insanity.
Oh, and just like to say, it was good to hear your voice. It is nice to put a voice with words. So good to meet you, Marky.
You too. I haven't been around much.
And that's coming from the best voice in the channel at this point. So Marky, that is like the praise from the Almighty right there.
Oh, don't downplay Eco. Don't downplay Eco. But AlohaEd's got the magic. He's got the juice, right?
I'm just trying to get more of that juice.
Oh, we love you, Ed. We love you. Okay, so this was good. This was healthy. And so I think that we should, because Marky was instrumental in creating some of the, because we used to have fun when we fought each other about ideas. And I think we could do it in a more constructive way. But we should not downplay the, I mean, I'm one that believes in the Mofax theory that Trump used his wrestling background to become president. If you track his speeches and his rallies, they're in the wrestling states. He used what he learned in the WWE to become the president of the United States. I think that very much. And so I think on Hive, in the Web3 space, what we need is a few Twitter champions, and we need to WrestleMania some ideas about decentralized communities. You know, and I think we need, well, maybe not a brutal flag war, but we are now adult enough. We've been doing this for 7-8 years, those of us who have been around this long. Like, we can put on a show. We don't have to be children about it now. We can be Bruce Lee. We've learned the forms to forget the forms. And now we need to put on a theater. And popcorn, exactly.
Ego, I have a question for you to ponder.
Hit me.
A decentralized governance around decisions and finance. Two different decentralization that merge together at the top.
You should just hire this guy to tell stories all day on this channel.
That's what I'm talking about. I've assembled a team. I'm putting together a team with special powers. I don't know if there was a question in there, Hive, but it sounded very mystical.
Well, decentralized governance seems to be a big thing, and it seems to be something that kind of needs to be developed a bit better than we have on the Hive blockchain for many reasons, thousands of bring. But there seems to be no effort toward that goal, if you know what I mean. Like, can we do something as an experiment to see how this would? Now, I see it works only on the tiered system, as in that the people in Korea want to do something, and there's just say a limited resources that's available for that area. You might have a bigger pool, but the limited resources that we can actually give people in Korea. So just say that 1,000 Hive, and it's up to them people in Korea to decide how they're going to spend that 1,000 Hive. Nobody outside of Korea should be allowed to tell them how to spend that. So they have a pool of different things that money is allocated for. So some might, just as examples, I can only water, roads, education, and healthcare. Now they can decide to put 250 in, or they can all individually vote and go, this one will get X amount based on the amount of votes got, but everybody voted on, say, 1, 2, 3, and 4 in a different order. And the machine calculates out this one got all the ones, so this gets this much, and then so on. And next numbers any ties. But something like that on a governance system for the distribution of the wealth that's allocated to a specific area.
I like
on a bigger scale though, they might have a say on what something happened on a bigger scale, same way as people in Colombia, Ireland, England, the UK, well, USA, Africa, India, China, Russia. Everybody has a say on the global opinion thing of, if we have a global fund developed type thing, should we allocate this amount for this purpose? And it's a yes or a no, depending on how many people vote on it out of the majority of people able to. Well, that's how much funding it gets. And then anything it didn't get would be used for the next project.
Well, I like the idea that we continue to experiment with the governance. We did have some experiments with it already. B has a DAO, which they voted with open governance to shut down. And so also I think CNA token has a DAO. I mean, okay, so all sorts of these things have been tried. What we need to do is continue to experiment. And I think we're in the right group to keep talking about this and to build experimental tools that are modular and that different teams can use in different ways. Because we're still playing around with coin voting or token governance and what that means in smaller and more local senses. How, are these things scalable, or is there a minimum viable N for any N number of people? You know, as sociologists, which we all should consider ourselves, by participating in these open experiments, human experiments, I think that we could put our ideas into wrestling concepts and use what Bookerman's trying to do to perhaps stir up some excitement on social media.
Let me tell you something, brother. We could get the excitement going. We can get them flexing all over Web 2 media, talking about Web 3. I just threw up my back trying to do it like a Hulk Hogan flex.
Bookerman, your profile pic is just perfect, man. I could see you. I could see you, man. I love you.
Is Booker Canadian? He sounds like Daniel Negreanu.
No, I am American all the way, but I'm as far north in America as you can get. We're basically Canadian at this point.
So you're the 54 state neighbor.
And I just got to say something to Marky. He was ragging on me for my dainty fingers. Don't you dare, my friend. I can play piano like no other.
Now say it in a Trump voice.
I'm the best at playing piano. No one better.
Well, I'm happy about that. That was a pretty good Trump voice. I think we need the shorts. We need the YouTube shorts. Booker, we're definitely friends now, so we're going to be, I mean, we have been. We're confirmed friends. So we're going to get in touch because I just randomly have been activating this channel, and anti-socialist and me would love this to be 24/7, you know, and then we just rotate jobs. We rotate the mic. Link to the recording to be posted. I keep posting the links. I keep posting. I'm gonna post the next one too. But I need people to activate. You create your own shorts channel or get in touch with me. We'll create them and put them on the same channel if we. But the idea is to penetrate, be viral, make a Twitter, or make a tweet, or exit out. That sort of stuff.
Speaking of penetration, Bookerman came up and gave a plebeian wrestling reference when, of course, you had the styling, the profiling, the limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling son of a gun. Woo! That's the way you cut a promo, Bookerman.
Wowzers! Okay, I can't lie. I've been recording for the last few minutes, and we got it, guys. We got it.
Now you sell that.
That was it. Print it. I clipped it. I cut it. It's on the move. Man, that was good. Oh boy. So talking about Hive marketing, Mino. Now that you're around, welcome back, man. Like, are you interested in putting any effort in? I mean, who would you work with? Who's your contacts? Welcome back to the group, man. We're putting together a mastermind.
Mino won't buy it. Sell it to Bookerman.
Truth be told, it's like I took a long break from social media. I think I did it for my mental health, but it had more to do with a midlife crisis, I think, honestly. But now that I'm living in South America, I'm not in the rat race anymore. I'm doing a lot better. And I started journaling again, and of course, I never powered down, and I always cared about this blockchain.
Bro,
so,
where are you living at? Where are you at? What country? I'm in Colombia.
Oh yeah, we're neighbors. I'm in Ecuador. I'm
fantastic.
basically.
Keep going. Thank you so much for confirming that. Very cool, neighbor, vecino.
Yeah, vecino. I'm basically there's a surf town in Ecuador called Montañita. I'm about 10 minutes away from it, but I'm in the jungle. I'm like inside the jungle. And I built my guitar making shop here, and I've been here for almost 5 years now. So, but I obviously I want Hive to succeed, and I'm down to reaching out to people again. But if we were to do it, and I have obviously I did it before. I'm not shy. I don't mind talking to people. I don't mind writing an email and being like, hey, dude, you don't know who I am, but whatever. I think we should maybe come up with some sort of form, like some sort of format. What are we gonna say? What are we not gonna say? Have like a solid front that everybody repeats. It's not like somebody's gonna say something, promise something, and then somebody is not going to. And then I think the message has to be clear. Has to be. But I'm down to do it. I'm not saying I'm going to spearhead anything because I don't think I am as involved as I should be to do something like that. But I'm more than willing to contribute in any way that I can to such a thing. Yeah, it is Ecuador region called Santa Elena. No, Marky, no helpy. I'm not doing that again. Not doing politics anymore.
Okay, we don't need to talk about Healthy 2.0. Fantastic. I love when they say watch it before they take it down. It's been up for 13 years. Okay. I love you, anti-socialist. I love you. Watch it before they take it down. Mino, great. Well, I'll definitely be reaching out to you. I would love to get my guitar fixed in your shop, so maybe I'll take a bus trip down there real quick. We've got here Mahidyari, and I'd love to know if he would want to tell us a little bit about Half and he's been doing stuff, I think, and I'd love to know what that stuff is. We would love to know if he's available. Yep, he's typing right now. Okay, he'll get back to us. Great. Just listening. Okay, I'd love to get with you. I'm sending you a friend request right now, friend. Let's pick a time. That'd be cool. Ed, fill in.
You're gonna make me work for this? I actually had my feet kicked up on my desk, sipping my coffee like an aristocrat.
Discord. I try to add people as friends. It's like, prove that you're a human. Like, am I not hosting a radio show? Discord, you stupid.
It's the worst. It is the best and the worst.
You're just whoring yourself out too much today. Friends with this guy, friends with that guy, just throwing yourself left and right there, Eco.
Yeah, Eco, you don't have to put out the red light. You don't have to sell your body to the night. Eco.
And I love it. That is one of my favorite movies is Moulin Rouge, and they do that cover of that song. It's so good.
It's funny. I'm watching all the comments and hearing about all the flag wars and stuff, and I feel like I came in to Hive at like a super cozy time because I just have so much fun, and I actually read people's content, and I just powered up 100 more Hive power, so I can give you, when I vote on your post, you can look forward to my 1.1 penny upvote. Feel the power. But I do enjoy reading your content.
Ed, you should read people's content and do a voice reading of their post. People could pay you for that.
We could do a show, Ed. We could read
Actually,
people's posts.
100%. Ed, if you just read out loud any Rest.org online post, we will upvote that 100%.
Toss it up on 3Speak.
Ed, get your links. Get your book reading links. Get them in here. Get them in here, Ed. I'll cover for you. Get the links.
Well, I am actually, after I hang up with you, on YouTube for years, I would do shows where I would narrate books. So I would read like Redwall, Narnia, Lord of the Rings, Conan, and so I'm going to start doing some of that, but just putting it all on Hive. I get kind of frustrated with building content for legacy social media and then having to jump through those hoops.
You could probably make money putting your voice on 11 Labs, and people basically use it for voicing.
Yeah, that almost sounds like a job, though. I'm retarded.
No, you do it once, and then once it's in there, it's digital, and then they use it's like AI.
Oh,
but you get paid every time someone uses it.
Oh, I'm not sure how I feel about that. My voice could be used to endorse all sorts of horrific things.
I would make you say some dirty, dirty things, my friend.
Bookerman would.
I'm already using it to make you say dirty things.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about these things. I'm experiencing.
You wouldn't know. You could just ignore it.
Emotions.
Yeah, I mean, we're just learning things. We're just learning things about tech. You don't have to do it. We're not inciting you into anything. We're showing you the options. Sell your soul or don't. It's up to you.
I'm going to give you an out. Mino, what are your opinions on localized market? Yep, you, Mino. Your opinions on localized marketing as opposed to global market, which is what goes on with X and Facebook.
You know what? I have this idea that I haven't been able to to do it yet. But as you guys know, and thank you so much, Nico, for sharing. I'm a luthier primarily. That's I've been doing that for a long time. So I participate also of a community of luthiers, and I've been thinking that maybe the way to onboard is do it. You know, this is probably a formula, one that can be effective. Maybe the a good way to onboard people would be to find a community of something that maybe you know a little bit about. Let's say if you're a car guy, I know for example Marky is big time into 3D printing. You know, so like something that you're really passionate about, you can contribute to that, and then try to onboard those people on here with the idea of like, hey, listen, here you can print, you can talk about whatever, you can share links to files of whatever. If you want to make I don't know, gun stocks out of, not to say that I'm saying that the market should do that, but I'm just giving you an example. Like, it doesn't matter, you're not going to get banned for whatever you want to share on here. And grabbing the main people from there, the leaders of that community, which there's always leaders, always, just like here, just like Eco is being for us, and having them come over, but with the idea of again, it's not here to make money. It's here you can invest if you want to. You don't have to. Always a message to me should be, you don't have to put a penny ever. You can work. You can just do sweat equity if that's what you want, and bringing them over like like you have political Hive. Maybe you can have, and in my case, it could be maybe a guitar community that I can bring over. And maybe that's a way to do it. So you would have what you would call a guiding hand per community that you're trying to onboard. It doesn't have to be one person. It could be a few. Coalition of people that know about that particular topic and try to bring other communities into it. And maybe that's the way to do it. But when I say marketing, I by no means do I mean paying for Instagram ads and being like, hey, are you tired of being censored because you have political opinions that are... No, I don't think that's going to work, because for the most part, people are very suspicious, and they should be, of all crypto projects. I mean, we just had a pastor release a meme coin a month ago. So like everybody and their mother is doing like little scams here. So I don't think that's the way to do it.
Can I come back at you there to get you another opinion of you?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna build off of that real quick. I was curious because there's a couple of things that you said. There's a couple of things that you said that I thought were kind of interesting. Has there been any type of a push to get any like churches on Hive at all? Because I could see like where there could actually be like a lot of benefit, censorship free. They don't have to worry about like a government or whatever, and then also like there's just like a ton of content that could spring up from that. So I was just wondering if there's ever been any outreach for something like that.
Yeah, there is Hive church content out there, different churches and different religious orientations. Back to me now, just to try if I can get you to advance on this a little bit as well. Okay, so if you took that a little bit deeper on what you said with the community, and you kind of like more took it to physically, that if you were saying we were discussing the distribution of the DHF funding and the benefits of what it does. So if you took that same investment that's going out to these resources and you're measuring what it brings back, if you put that into a property, and then that property brought back revenue, and this would be stage one, so bear with me. And we only need to go to stage one today. That property will bring back a revenue, and over time it would pay for itself. You would take percentage of that property and give it back to whatever funded the initial funding for that property. So in this case, it could be the DHF. So the DHF now gets a monthly return that's coming in, and that monthly return can be allocated give somebody a wage or something that someone it can pay for something. Point. A larger majority gets reinvested into the next property while we're still seeking more funding for that property from the block. But we reach there much quicker because this money is coming in from
Hey,
property.
the Hive, can I
Now,
ask you something?
second.
Okay,
One
second.
One second. Now, what you've created then is an increasing amount of demand for the Hive token each time a new unit added. Go ahead, Ego.
Okay, yeah, my mute button is like it works, but it's futzy. So okay, so here's my question for Bookerman. Why don't we print $10 million from the DHF and buy an event venue that people can host small wrestling events in?
I mean, I guess people just have to see the value on it to vote on those proposals or whatnot.
I've never
For
seen
example, we're
proposal like
we're
that.
already planning. So I have a proposal that I'm not going to bring to the DHF because I don't want people to feel like they have to pay for it. But Woo is going to hold our own Hive-related wrestling event this year in 2025. The Hive Community Title Belt will be on the line. We're going to give VIP tickets are only going to be for sale with HBD and stuff like that. So, I mean, we are going to do that. We are going to film it. We're going to do not only post, but put on Three Speak and other avenues. But I don't know, like I'm really iffy about ever doing a DHF post for the simple fact that and I'm going to use a wrestling term here, getting heat, where it's like there's a lot of people, like you see it with InLeo, they get some heat for how the proposal that they bring up. But I mean, I could run a wrestling show market it, pay for talent, insurance, wrestling ring, all the bells and whistles, like 15 grand will cover literally everything. And I know that's like not a huge amount of money to ask for, but I wouldn't even go to the DHF and ask that. I'm trying to run what we do without ever having to go to the DHF. I mean, yes, we kind of gotten some roundabout money because of promotion through Value Plan, but we've never made a direct DHF proposal. And I'm just like really iffy about doing it.
I understand, and I
What's
thank
up?
you so much for sharing with us because this is exactly the experience of any project manager. I deeply fear making a proposal because I'm my own man, and I just think there's a lot of apathy. A lot of what I'm hearing when I interview people is that they wish there were hundreds of proposals and that we were getting, flushing the system with proposals that we could vote up or down. Not that a project should do less proposals, but that Leo probably should do 10 different proposals and we should be voting which one of them, in which way we should be funding it. We should have more variables. So hold on a second, the Hive, please. Let's give this some time to breathe. So here's what I'm thinking. I would like to propose right now that we, over the next 6 months, team up with Hive Mexico and actually get Hivers to pretend or to really wrestle each other. Hive people, we should put on a show in August or September, and we should go to Mexico, and we should put on a Lucha Libre thing as a Hive blockchain, and we should put funding on the line. If it's $10,000,
and kind of building off of that too. It's like I've ran the idea of like, instead of necessarily having like Hivians go out and wrestle, but have like maybe front ends or projects kind of like you would have InLeo versus Peak D, like two wrestlers. One is supported by InLeo, one supported by Peak D type of deal, or the Splinterlands wrestler, the D Crops wrestler, stuff like that.
Well, while we have dead time, Mano, sorry, I'll get back to what I was saying before. Yeah, if in doing that, it's a lot of money going out and what's coming back. backdoor people is you give them rebates on what they pay for the rent, but you give the rebate in HD. And now they can utilize that HD, and we can introduce a new method for these same people to utilize that HBD in a local area, because we have that local funding coming in to compensate for any HBD that is spent. We don't need a bank to do the transaction of exchange. We can do it in the local corner shop. They will tell their friends and word of mouth, and yeah, things can spread from there, is what I was kind of meaning by localized market.
Okay, so I love this because already just this idea, we are talking about three things at once, but that's good. We have the connections. We have Bookerman. I'm friends with basically all the Hive Spanish-speaking communities. Some are better organized than others, but Hive Mexico is a pretty sizable community with some weight behind it, and I know they'll help us find a venue. I know I'm eager to get away. I'm eager to spread the love in Latin America. So let's do it. Let's support Hive Mexico. I know for $10,000 or $12,000, we can just show them how it's done. You know what I mean? And I think it would be great. And I think I have an idea of how we can flash pass proposals. And if they don't get flash passed, well, then we try again because it's only $11 instead of trying to pass these 12-month proposals. If we just need 15 grand, let's ask for it. Boom, $11. You gonna give us 15 grand? No, you should make it better. Okay, we'll make it better, and another $11. Give us 15 grand. So yeah, it's $1 a day. So why are we asking for 9 and 12-month proposals? There's hundreds of thousands of dollars a day going unspent. We should be trying to flash pass more proposals. Yes, Bookerman. Yes. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and I would 100% be down to discuss this and figure stuff out. Like I said, my big issue is I've always just had a kind of wanting to steer away from that because I don't want to get a bunch of the heat that might come with it. But again, it's not a big ask. It's not like we would be coming asking for $100,000 or whatever. It's these small little things that could bring value back to Hive or HBD. Create content for Hive. We could literally have a Hive logo smack dab in the middle of the wrestling ring. I know I could talk to my buddy Sonny Ono, and we could get it put on. I think it's Triller now, Triller TV, the streaming platform and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I'd love to discuss this. I do have to step away. I know you guys are going to hate me saying this, but I got a Bible study I got to get to. So
I love you, Bookerman. God bless you. Thank you so much. We're going to keep this rolling a little while longer, but I appreciate your participation here today. Thank you so much. If you want to send us out with a heel call or something, do it now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, this has been fantastic. This has been great. I'll be back another day, another time, and until then, woo!
Fantastic, my man. Modern day. Okay, so we love you, Bookerman. We're going to make this happen, and anybody who wants to get involved, just reach out to me. Make sure you're my friend on Discord. Addicted, pick up the mic about flash passing proposals. Why aren't more projects doing this?
Flash passing them?
Okay, do you know what I'm talking about? All you need is 30 million, but you can get $50,000 in one day. You don't need to squeak it out $300 a day at a time.
Oh, right.
Just
take it all at once.
Well, it's cheaper, and it's cheaper to test the proposal process because it's only $11 to do a proposal. Leo proposal costs them $300 to try to pass. $10, Mark is saying. Yeah, he's correcting me. So why? I mean, if we're trying to pass things that are less than hundreds of thousands of dollars, like $10, $20, $50, $80,000, we can get past in one day. Boom. $10 to ask for $80,000 seems to me like a much smarter way.
It costs $10. I guess I don't even know how it works. It costs $10 a day to do that.
No, it's $1 a day of
It's
beyond a
$10
certain minimum
one-time
amount
fee.
of days.
Oh.
$10 one-time fee.
Yeah, I mean, I know why people don't do it. It's they don't want, people see a big number and they're like, no, automatically not, like immediately no. So people like to make the number smaller so that it looks like they're asking for less. It's unit bias, and it totally works on the psychology side.
I want to ask
But yeah,
46 million.
yeah, I don't think it, like logistically, I don't think it matters if you get it all at once or if you get it over time.
I'm going to try some flash proposals this year. We'll see what happens, but I want to activate with smaller amounts, and maybe some bigger ones, but I feel like it's my responsibility to try to pass. If I'm going to try to pass a proposal, I think it's my responsibility. If I'm going to spend $300, I should pass 30 proposals of $10 instead of one proposal of $300. That's how I think I should be as a sociologist. If I'm going to spend $300, I should spend it on 30 proposals.
Right, I guess I just need to look up exactly how it works, because I probably don't know. I've never made one before.
Well, I'm interested in anybody else. No harm in trying, says Mino. That's right. I just figure, if I'm locked in on 300, I'm gonna pass 30 proposals, and I expect that 29 will fail or maybe less, but we'll see what happens. The Hive, you were trying to chime in. Bring it up. Go ahead.
Oh, I asked Menno. I don't know if he remembers the question or not.
Definitely repeat the question for us all, mister.
If you created a general source of income out in the physical world, and its main purpose was to purchase Hive token, and in that process you gave a rebate to those who were involved in the project you had going on in the physical world, and you gave them that rebate through HBD, i.e. they did not have to make an account was made for them automatically, and then it's there for them if they want to utilize it. But you do inform them that there is a physical fiat value tokens held there. They could view them as a loyalty token, but yeah, they can use them as a discount off their rent. But because we're doing this marketing locally, we can also utilize a local facility like a corner shop or take in pros. And they are guaranteed whatever they take that 2 HB in, they get their $2. It doesn't matter. They take that in. HBD is at 90 cents. We're going to give dollar worth for it. That's our guarantee. We do that guarantee from the income from rented accommodation. So if we lose $5 or $6 from our total income of what we rent that accommodation out at over the period of a month or so, we're not too bothered because of fluctuation in HBD value. But in general, as a method of getting wallets in pockets and people utilizing the chain that are not necessarily bloggers, and we don't really asking anything from them, we're just telling them this is here if you want to use it as a form of marketing.
I honestly, brother, if you take the time to write this on like a white paper, I would love, because I really want to poke holes into it. But there's a few things that I think I can already form an opinion on. One of them being,
can I send, if I send you an invite to my server, the basic concept of all of that is wrote out there, and you'll be able to read it.
please do. Maybe I used to be a part of your server back in the day, you know.
No.
But please do, because yeah, please do. But here's one thing that I do know. Okay, there's one I remember a long time ago. I was talking to I'm not gonna say that name, but this developer had this idea of trying to do a pegged token on Stellar Lumens. They were trying to do so basically their own USDT. That's what they were thinking about, and he ran into a lot of issues on the legality side of things because he wanted to. I think he wanted to use his house as a collateral. So, meaning if you were able to do something like this where there's actually something physical in the real world and is tied and all stuff, there's a really good chance that you would have some legal obstacles. You know,
Mino, I just want
whatever country you're in.
Yeah, I just want to let you know that, for example, in Colombia, I've solved the legal problem. Our token is a security, and that's okay. So I don't know the exact situation with Ecuador, but like that problem that we had 4 and 8 years ago, that problem's been solved. I mean, maybe not for everybody in every jurisdiction, but it's not for nothing that 3 years ago everybody was registering in the Seychelles and all that sort of stuff, except that what used to cost $9,000, at least for me, because I live in Colombia, cost me, $88 to start a company and $13 with a B or whatever it is nowadays. So, but obviously that's not an obstacle anymore in our case, but what we can do with that is the real question, because are there any trustworthy managers left in the space?
Yeah, that's another big challenge there because you're talking about a transnational trust. I don't even know what you call that. Because people from all over the world, no way of if it was to be mismanaged and lose money and then people contributed to it, how do you hold that person accountable? Yeah, it's difficult, but I promise you, the Hive. I'm gonna read up on it. I'm interested. I like heavy mental lifting, so I'm gonna read up on it.
I do have solutions in mind for the things you mentioned, so there's obstacles already overcome.
So I want to keep the circle flowing. Addicted, now that you know what we all think everybody knows, which is how much a proposal costs, why are they doing it the silly way of proposing for a whole year, other than big number go up or big number get downvoted or something? I mean, why wouldn't they flash past 30 proposals and get 1 or 3 of them passed?
I think what I said is still valid. It's a unit bias issue. If people see big number, they don't want to fund it because they're like, that's too much money. Yeah, and then if you flood the proposal system with like 30 proposals, that's just another red flag for people. They're going to be like, oh, that's not normal. That's not how we do things here. So maybe it's just an issue of
it's
evolving past it. I don't know.
Red flag, and I'll tell you why it's a red flag people do. Because back a while back when Hive was first forked like that, the Hive token gained popularity. Steam token losing popularity was always evacuees, migrants. We were all selling the Hive or the Steam token, buying the Hive token. So the effect of that is obvious. But during all that time, there was people doing things, and well, I'm doing this to help the new chain, and I'm doing that to help the chain, and getting funded for it. And there was a time where somebody was given something like 30,000 HBD in a lump sum to onboard more exchanges and other communications of interaction for the blockchain token, and done nothing. So one lump sum is kind of a red flag to anybody that knows that a long time.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if you need block trades anyway, all of this is sunk cost when I am the one doing the proposals. Yes, it's a little bit different, but I'm a little bit different. So, like, think about my game theory here. If I need block trades anyway, how do I get his attention? 30 but not at all at the same time, guys.
You don't need block trades. You don't need block trades. That's bullshit. Block trades merely passes you by himself.
You don't need him, but he can do, or block trades on one or two others can get a proposal passed. But you don't need block trades, so. But getting it makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Well, hello, Farasim. Is that the right way to say your name, Farasim? Hi, I'm Miko.
Hello, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I only write it.
Fantastic. I love it. Okay. Welcome to this space. And I get it. But you know, the basic criticism is that there's a small group of people that we need. And I think it is decentralizing slowly over time due to, for example, things like what Marky was talking about, not insisting on maximum ROI for oneself. And so I'd love for you to chime in. Like, what do you think? Is the return proposal too high? Should I pass one or two proposals over the next couple of days just to prepare for another proposal later? Or should I save the juice? Or, like, how should we be treating this thing? Because a lot of people are telling me they wish there were more options to vote on.
Well, I would say just start a small proposal, like not over the 60 days, so you don't pay too much. Make a good proposal. Don't make it too expensive. Everybody sees the proposals because PicD even notifies you when there's a new one. So I would like to see many more.
Fantastic. Thank you for that feedback. What about you, Marky? Is more better in terms of options for our slate? Marky. Oh, mute button. Okay, we lost Marky. Yeah, that's okay. So anyways, yeah, good conversation, guys. Anybody else want to say anything about the DHF while we're on the topic? Marco, are you coming on the mic? We're just chatting it up.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Can the blockchain own something?
Well, I definitely think that it. Here's the thing: ownership, in the legal sense, has some hurdles. So in some countries, maybe, but in most countries, there requires a EIN or a number. And so somebody could register. I've been, in Hive, I'm the president of Hive Colombia, but I can't be the president of Hive. So I could own Hive Colombia could own something because I can get a number for Hive Colombia, a root and anyway, some sort of unique identification number.
Yes, can.
I agree with you in spirit as well as in practice, but of course in different countries that means different things to different people,
Technically. But okay. So technically what you're doing is you're creating a company to give the identity of an entity. The entity that you create then becomes a citizen. Now, if you can do that, create that citizen, without the citizen actually having a nation, that citizen can operate outside and inside of all nations just by having subsidiaries.
Well, it was definitely very profound. That's for sure, man. I like it. Guys, what's on deck? Any other pending pressing topics? I'm starting to get a lot of DMs, so I'm gonna maybe bounce. Like tend to the fires I've started.
Well, I hope I left loads of people with a few questions.